We've all been there. We scroll through social media, bombarded by images of seemingly perfect lives. We see friends' accomplishments, colleagues' promotions, and strangers' exotic vacations. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others, measuring our worth against their perceived successes. Comparison is a natural human tendency, a primal instinct rooted in our evolutionary past. We are social creatures, wired to assess our standing within the group. But in today's world, the comparison game has become amplified, fueled by the constant barrage of curated online personas. The truth is, comparison rarely serves us. It often leads to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and even shame. When we focus on what we lack compared to others, we lose sight of our own strengths and accomplishments. We forget to appreciate the unique journey that has shaped us into the individuals we are today. This constant comparison can become a toxic cycle, eroding our self-esteem and hindering our ability to live wholeheartedly. Instead of focusing on what others have, we need to shift our attention inward. True fulfillment comes from embracing our authentic selves with all our imperfections and vulnerabilities. It's about recognizing our own worthiness, independent of external validation. It's about understanding that everyone's journey is different, and comparison is a futile exercise that only steals our joy and diminishes our potential. Comparison often leads to a downward spiral of negative emotions. When we perceive ourselves as lacking compared to others, it can trigger feelings of inadequacy. We start to question our abilities, doubt our worth, and feel like we don't measure up. This can lead to a sense of shame, a painful emotion that tells us we are fundamentally flawed or unworthy. We may start to withdraw from others, fearing judgment and rejection. Shame is a powerful emotion that can keep us stuck in a cycle of self-criticism and negativity. It thrives in secrecy and silence, so talking about our struggles with trusted friends or a therapist can be incredibly liberating. When we share our experiences with vulnerability and authenticity, we realize that we are not alone in our struggles. Connection and empathy can help us dismantle the shame that keeps us from living wholeheartedly. It's crucial to recognize that inadequacy and shame are not reflections of our true worth. These feelings stem from the illusion of comparison, not from our inherent value as human beings. We are all worthy of love, belonging, and connection, regardless of how we measure up to others. Remember, we are all perfectly imperfect, and embracing our imperfections is essential for living a wholehearted life. Social media plays a significant role in fueling the comparison game. These platforms often present a distorted view of reality, showcasing carefully curated versions of people's lives. We see images of perfect bodies, blissful relationships, and extraordinary achievements, creating an illusion of perfection that is unattainable and unrealistic. It's easy to forget that behind those glossy images are real people with their own struggles, insecurities, and challenges. Social media often masks the full spectrum of human experience, leading us to believe that everyone else is living a more fulfilling and successful life than we are. The constant exposure to these idealized images can have a detrimental effect on our mental health and well-being. It can lead to increased anxiety, depression, and body image issues. It can also trigger a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, as we constantly compare our experiences to the seemingly exciting lives of others online. It's important to remember that social media is not real life. It's a curated highlight reel, not a reflection of the messy, complex reality of human experience. To mitigate the negative effects of social media, we need to cultivate a more mindful approach to our online engagement. We can start by unfollowing accounts that trigger feelings of inadequacy or comparison. We can also limit our time on social media and focus on engaging with content that inspires, uplifts, and connects us to our values. Remember, we have the power to curate our online experience and choose to focus on content that nourishes our well-being. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, offers powerful techniques for reframing our thoughts and challenging negative self-talk. One effective technique is called reframing. It involves consciously shifting our perspective on a situation to create a more positive and empowering interpretation. For example, if you find yourself comparing your career progress to a colleague's recent promotion, you can reframe the situation by focusing on your own unique strengths and accomplishments. Instead of viewing their success as a threat, see it as inspiration. Their achievement can serve as a reminder that anything is possible with hard work and dedication. Reframing helps us break free from limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns that fuel the comparison game. It empowers us to focus on our own progress and celebrate our achievements, no matter how big or small. This NLP technique can help us regain control over our thoughts and emotions, empowering us to break free from the comparison trap and cultivate a more positive and self-compassionate mindset. Section 5. Embracing imperfection, the power of self-compassion. Perfection is an illusion, a mythical ideal that sets us up for disappointment and self-criticism. When we strive for perfection, we are essentially chasing an unattainable goal, setting ourselves up for a perpetual cycle of inadequacy and shame. Embracing imperfection, on the other hand, is about accepting ourselves as we are, with all our flaws, quirks, and vulnerabilities. It's about recognizing that our imperfections are not weaknesses, but rather integral parts of what makes us unique and human. Self-compassion is essential for embracing imperfection. It involves treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and compassion that we would offer to a dear friend. When we practice self-compassion, we learn to silence the inner critic that tells us we are not good enough. We replace self-judgment with self-acceptance, fostering a sense of worthiness that is not contingent on external validation. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our mistakes and setbacks without harsh self-criticism. It helps us recognize that we are all works in progress, constantly learning, growing, and evolving. Instead of beating ourselves up for our imperfections, we can approach them with curiosity and a willingness to learn and grow. Remember, imperfection is not a flaw. It's a sign of courage, authenticity, and a willingness to embrace the fullness of human experience. Section 6. Finding your worth within. Cultivating intrinsic motivation. Our worthiness is not determined by external factors like achievements, possessions, or social status. True worthiness stems from within, from recognizing our inherent value as human beings. When we rely on external validation for our sense of self, we become vulnerable to the comparison game. We start to believe that our worth is contingent on outperforming others, achieving certain milestones, or accumulating material possessions. This external focus can lead to a constant sense of pressure, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. Cultivating intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, involves finding joy and fulfillment in the process itself, rather than solely focusing on the outcome. When we are intrinsically motivated, we engage in activities because they are personally meaningful and align with our values and passions. We find satisfaction in the journey, not just the destination. This shift in perspective allows us to appreciate our efforts and celebrate our progress, regardless of external recognition or comparison. Intrinsic motivation frees us from the pressure of constantly proving ourselves to others. It allows us to pursue our goals with a sense of purpose and authenticity, fostering a deep sense of satisfaction that cannot be diminished by external factors. Section 7. The uniqueness of you, celebrating your individuality. Each of us is a unique tapestry of experiences, perspectives, and talents. Our individuality is a precious gift, something to be cherished and celebrated. The comparison game robs us of the joy of embracing our uniqueness. It pressures us to conform to external standards and expectations, leading us to believe that there's only one right way to be. When we compare ourselves to others, we diminish the value of our own unique contributions. We lose sight of the special qualities that make us who we are. Instead of trying to fit into a mold, let's celebrate what makes us different. Let's embrace our quirks, nurture our talents, and express ourselves authentically. The world needs your unique perspective, your creativity, and your compassionate heart. When we embrace our individuality, we tap into our true potential. We discover the joy of being our authentic selves, free from the constraints of comparison and the pressure to conform. Remember, you are one of a kind, and that is your superpower. Section 8. Conclusion. Embracing your journey. Comparison is a thief of joy. It steals our present moment, fills us with self-doubt, and keeps us from living wholeheartedly. Let's choose to step out of the comparison trap and embrace our own unique journeys. Let's celebrate our strengths, acknowledge our imperfections, and find joy in the process of becoming our authentic selves. Remember, you are worthy of love, belonging, and connection, just as you are. Your worth is not determined by external validation, but by the inherent value you possess as a human being. Embrace your imperfections, cultivate self-compassion, and find joy in the unique tapestry of your life. To delve deeper into the power of vulnerability and self-acceptance, join our community and subscribe for more inspirational content. Together, let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, embracing our authentic selves and celebrating the beauty of our shared humanity.